Success is often portrayed as something shiny and external, a job title, a degree, a luxury lifestyle, or public recognition. From a young age, we are conditioned to chase these symbols as proof of our worth. But what happens when we achieve those things and still feel unfulfilled? Or worse, what if our paths don't lead to those traditional markers of success at all? That's where the deeper truth comes in. Real success is not something you can hold in your hands or hang on a wall. It's something you carry inside. It is the quiet strength that gets you out of bed when life feels unbearable. It is the small step forward you take when no one is watching. It is the refusal to give up on yourself, even when every part of you wants to. Redefining success means letting go of society's checklists and writing your own. It means recognizing that healing from trauma, surviving loss, rebuilding your confidence, or learning to love yourself are just as valid, if not more so, than any medal or milestone. This perspective allows you to honor your personal growth rather than constantly compare yourself to others. It gives space for all the moments that aren't glamorous but are deeply transformative. The moments when you break, when you cry, when you question your purpose. These are not failures. These are the moments that shape your character. They are where true success is born. There is a quiet dignity in rising from difficulty, in staying kind in a world that hasn't always been kind to you, in continuing to believe that better is possible even when you've seen the worst. This kind of success doesn't come with applause. It doesn't trend on social media, but it builds a life of meaning, of authenticity, and of inner peace. It turns your wounds into wisdom and your scars into strength. It allows you to look back, not with regret, but with pride, not because it was easy, but because you made it through. The world may never fully understand what you've endured to become who you are today. And that's okay. You are not here to meet someone else's definition of success. You are here to grow, to learn, to evolve, and to do so in a way that is honest and true to you. When you begin to view success as an inner journey, you stop chasing validation. You start walking in purpose. You stop waiting to be enough. You realize you already are. And that's the moment you begin to truly own your success, not because the world finally sees you, but because you do. We often wait for grand moments to define our success, the big win, the perfect result, the applause. But the truth is, those moments are few and far between. Most of life is lived in the in-between. The quiet mornings when you get up and try again. The tough days when you keep going despite the heaviness in your heart. The tiny shifts in mindset that nobody sees but you. Success is not just about where you end up. It's about who you become along the way. And the journey, the messy, uncertain, sometimes painful journey, is where real growth happens. Every step you take, even the small and seemingly insignificant ones, counts. When you choose not to give up on yourself after a failure, that is success. When you take time to care for your mental health, even if it means slowing down, that is success. When you forgive yourself for past mistakes and make the decision to do better, that is success. The journey is made up of these small, powerful choices that often go unnoticed by others, but should never go unnoticed by you. So many people overlook their progress because it doesn't look like what others are celebrating. But the truth is, learning to trust yourself again, finding your voice, setting boundaries, and standing back up after life knocks you down, these are victories worth honoring. They may not earn you a trophy or a headline, but they are evidence of resilience. They are the reason you're still standing, still fighting, still moving forward. Success on this journey is not linear. It comes with setbacks, detours, and moments of deep self-doubt, but every time you keep going, you're proving to yourself that you are more than your struggles. You're proving that you have what it takes, not just to survive, but to thrive. It's easy to celebrate yourself when everything is going well. The real test and the real transformation happens in the process, when things are unclear, when nothing is guaranteed, and you still choose to believe in yourself. Don't wait until the final destination to feel proud of who you are. You don't need to be finished or perfect to celebrate your progress. The road you are on, with all its twists and turns, is already shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. That is something worth acknowledging every single day. So take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Not just the visible changes, but the internal ones, the mindset shifts, the emotional healing, the renewed sense of hope. These are all signs that you're growing, that you're evolving, that you are in your own way succeeding. And when you can look at your journey and see the beauty in your own persistence, you begin to understand that the path itself is just as meaningful, if not more, than the destination. There is a habit many of us carry without even realizing it, the habit of downplaying our own achievements. We accomplish something meaningful, overcome a deep personal struggle, or reach a goal we worked hard for, and yet we brush it off with phrases like "I was just lucky," or "it wasn't a big deal." This instinct to minimize ourselves doesn't come from humility. It comes from a deep-rooted belief that we are not enough, that our efforts don't count unless someone else validates them. But the truth is, your success is not accidental. It is not something that simply happened to you. You made it happen. Through your effort, your persistence, and your strength, you earned every bit of it. It's easy to look at others and think they are more deserving, that their accomplishments are bigger, more impressive, or more meaningful. But you don't know the full story behind someone else's path, just as they don't know yours. Every time you discount your own journey, you deny yourself the right to be proud of how far you've come. You forget the nights you stayed awake, the fears you faced, the doubts you overcame, and those moments are not small. They are proof that you showed up for yourself, even when it was hard to do so. Taking ownership of your success means acknowledging that you played a role in where you are now, even if others supported you along the way. And yes, support matters. It was you who took the steps. It was you who didn't quit. It was you who believed even when the outcome was uncertain. Giving yourself credit is not arrogance. It is an act of self-respect. It's about saying, "I worked for this, and I am proud of what I've achieved." There will always be people who try to make you feel like your accomplishments aren't good enough. There will always be comparisons, expectations, and judgments, but you owe it to yourself to stand firmly in your truth. You don't need to explain your path to anyone. You don't need to wait for permission to feel proud. What you've done matters, your progress matters, and you deserve to celebrate that without guilt. Owning your success is also a powerful message to others. It gives permission to those around you, especially those who feel invisible or overlooked, to recognize their own worth. When you stop minimizing your achievements, you inspire others to stop hiding theirs. You create a ripple effect of confidence, honesty, and self-love, so the next time you catch yourself dismissing your growth, pause, reflect, remind yourself of what it took to get here, speak kindly about your journey. Own the work, the effort, the heart you've poured into becoming who you are. Because when you start believing in your success, the world will begin to believe in it too, but more importantly, you will begin to truly live it. Owning your success is not about arrogance. It's not about walking into a room and demanding attention or constantly proving your worth to others. It's about a quiet, grounded confidence, one rooted in gratitude, self-awareness, and respect for the journey you've taken. Too often, people mistake confidence for ego and pride for selfishness, but there is a powerful difference between arrogance and gratitude. One is loud and insecure, the other is calm and secure. When you truly understand what it took to get where you are, you can't help but feel thankful, not just for the victories, but for the strength that grew through every setback along the way. Gratitude changes the way you see your success. Instead of seeing it as something to flaunt or compare, you begin to see it as something sacred, a reflection of everything you've learned, endured, and overcome. You become more compassionate, more humble, and more willing to lift others up, because you know what it feels like to struggle. You understand that your success isn't the end of the story, but a chapter in a larger journey that continues to evolve, and that understanding keeps you grounded even as you grow. When you are truly grateful, you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need validation, applause, or recognition. You start to feel fulfilled from within. You can look in the mirror and acknowledge yourself with kindness, not criticism. That kind of gratitude isn't about saying, I'm the best. It's about saying, I've come a long way, and I'm thankful for every lesson that shaped me. It allows you to own your growth without guilt or shame, and to honor yourself without diminishing anyone else. This perspective also helps you stay balanced. Success can be exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. It's easy to get caught up in chasing the next goal, the next win, the next level of approval. But when you operate from a place of gratitude, you stop running and start appreciating. You stop seeking validation and start experiencing presence. You recognize that you are already enough not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you've become in the process. Gratitude also invites grace into your life. It allows you to forgive yourself for the times you stumbled. It reminds you that even your missteps taught you something valuable. When you embrace this mindset, you can take pride in your success without letting it control you. You can celebrate your progress while staying deeply connected to your values, your purpose, and your truth. So take ownership of your success, but let it be anchored in gratitude. Be proud, but stay grounded. Celebrate, but don't lose your sense of humility, because when your success comes from a place of sincerity and appreciation, it becomes more than a personal victory. It becomes a reflection of inner peace, resilience, and authentic strength. There is a common misconception that success only belongs to those who appear flawless, unshaken, and always in control. But the truth is, some of the most successful people carry stories of pain, loss, rejection, and failure. They wear invisible scars that were earned in silence, far from any spotlight. The journey to success is rarely smooth or perfect. It's often messy, uncertain, and filled with moments that test your very core. But it is in those moments that your true strength is revealed. Your struggles are not proof of weakness. They are evidence of your resilience. Pain has a way of shaping us in ways comfort never can. When life breaks you open, you're forced to face parts of yourself you may have never seen before. Your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. But alongside those come your courage, your perseverance, and your will to rise. Each time you choose to keep going despite the heaviness, you are building something far more powerful than perfection. You are building character. You are growing roots. Scars are not meant to be hidden. They are part of your story. They are reminders of what you've been through, what you've survived, and how far you've come. Each one holds a lesson, a turning point, a moment when you decided to fight instead of fold. Your strength doesn't come in the absence of pain. It's born from your ability to carry it, learn from it, and still move forward with grace. So many people believe they need to have it all together before they can feel proud or call themselves successful. But true success is not about having an easy path. It's about what you do with the path you've been given. It's about the quiet victories that no one sees, getting out of bed on a hard day, asking for help when you're struggling, trying again after failing. These moments may not seem like much from the outside, but they are everything. They are proof of your resilience, and resilience is one of the purest forms of success. It takes strength to feel pain and not become bitter. It takes strength to be vulnerable and still hold your head high. It takes strength to walk through darkness and still carry light. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of power, of depth, of authenticity. And when you begin to embrace your struggles as part of your journey, you give yourself permission to succeed as you are wounded, healing, growing. Don't wait until you're perfect to acknowledge your progress. Don't hide your scars as if they make you less worthy. They are a part of what makes your success real and meaningful. They tell the truth behind your triumph. They prove that you didn't just rise. You rose with wisdom, with empathy, and with a heart that refused to give up. That is not weakness, that is power, that is success, and it is wholly, unapologetically yours. There comes a point in every journey where you must look in the mirror and recognize the person staring back, not as someone trying to become something, but as someone who already is. Your story, with all its imperfections, heartbreaks, victories, and quiet moments of growth, matters deeply. Too often, people wait for external validation before they believe they have something of value to offer. But the truth is, your story doesn't need permission to be important. You don't have to be famous, flawless, or applauded to be worthy. The fact that you've lived, endured, and grown is enough. Many of us go through life carrying the weight of invisibility, feeling like our experiences don't measure up to those we see highlighted in the world around us. We compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel and convince ourselves that our journey isn't worth telling. But every step you've taken, every time you chose to continue despite the odds, every quiet moment of self-reflection or courage to start again, those moments have value. They hold power. They carry the kind of depth that others can learn from, be inspired by, and connect to. Owning your story is not about shouting your experiences for the world to hear. It's about acknowledging them for yourself. It's about standing in your truth without shrinking. You don't have to explain your path or justify why it looks different. What matters is that it's yours, crafted with every choice you made, every challenge you overcame, and every dream you dared to chase, even when it felt out of reach. When you embrace your own story, you also create space for others to do the same. Your courage to show up as you are honestly and unapologetically becomes an invitation for others to stop hiding. It tells people that they are not alone in their struggles, that it's okay to be in progress, and that they too are worthy of owning their success. In this way, honoring your story becomes an act of quiet leadership. It becomes a source of strength not just for you, but for everyone around you. There is freedom in choosing to believe that who you are and who you are becoming is enough. When you stop trying to fit someone else's mold and start trusting your own journey, you begin to live more fully, more honestly, and more meaningfully. Your story doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. It just has to be real. So claim your space, speak your truth, be proud of what you've survived, what you've learned, and who you've become. Don't wait for someone else to call your life significant. Live like it already is. Because it is, you are not here by accident. Your story is not accidental. You were meant to grow through what you've grown through. And by honoring that, by truly owning your story, you begin to own your success, not as something you borrowed, but as something you've earned deeply and completely. Owning your success is not about proving yourself to others. It's about finally recognizing your own strength, your own growth, and your own worth. It's about honoring the journey you've walked, no matter how uneven the path or how many times you had to start over. Success is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it's found in the quiet resilience of choosing to rise again. It's in healing in self, discovery in setting boundaries, and in showing up for yourself even when no one else does. You don't need anyone's permission to be proud of how far you've come. You don't need a stage, a certificate, or the applause of others to validate your progress. The fact that you are still here, still growing, still trying, still believing, is proof enough. You faced storms, doubts, and days where giving up felt easier, and yet you chose to keep going. That is success. So stop minimizing your journey. Stop hiding your scars. Stand in your truth with gratitude, not guilt. Your story matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Let this be your reminder. You are allowed to own your success with confidence and grace, not because it makes you better than anyone else, but because it reflects the courage it took to become who you are today. And if you ever forget that, pause and look back, not at what you wish had happened, but at what did. Look at everything you've overcome, everything you've built, everything you've become. That is your success. And it is yours to own.